It's the Pete Sousa Show. Sports, Pete.
Nobody tells our stories better than our clients.
The difference is stark. I was rear-ended at a stop. I thought I was fine, and then once I got home, I realized it's a lot worse than I thought. I ended up having a ruptured disc. You say you're not hurting, and then an hour later, you're saying you're in all this pain. I just felt like most people would think that I was lying. And that's when I decided to call Daniel Stark. I owe a lot to Daniel Stark. They really got me what I deserved.
The difference is stark.
We definitely love our relationship and love Extraco. It's been an amazing experience.
They made the PPP process easier. They were reaching out to me saying, what can I do to help you? That made a huge difference because my stress level, when we shut down, to afterwards was night and day.
Our experience with Extraco has been phenomenal since the very beginning, so we love Extraco.
Tervis is all about staying hydrated with style and durability. You can trust Tervis tumblers to keep your drinks the perfect temperature, hot or cold, for hours. From the classic insulated tumblers to sleek stainless steel water bottles, each product is built to last and comes in endless designs to match your personality. Stay refreshed and express yourself with Tervis. Visit tervis.com today and find your perfect tumbler.
Since our founding, we've been revolutionizing hair removal with cutting-edge technology and a commitment to empowerment. The U-Like Air 3, launched in 2023, ushers in a new era of sapphire ice cooling technology, offering nearly painless hair reduction in just 3 weeks. Experience the future of hair removal today at ulike.com, because at Ulike, beauty is about looking and feeling good. That's ulike.com. Ulike. With Ease US, make studio quality voiceovers for your videos online in over 149 languages and dialects, featuring 468 natural AI voices. Customize the volume, mood, and pauses to perfectly match your content. Plus, capture high quality videos with no watermark. Record your screen, webcam, and voice, and save them instantly to your computer. Never been easier to create professional grade videos and voiceovers. Try it today at easeus.com. That's EASEUS.com. Ease US.
Just use Anthase.
Pace.
It is the Pete Sousa Show. We are stoked to have you with us. The Lakers are tied 1-1 with the Minnesota Timberwolves, just like I said they would be. We'll get to that in a moment. Also going to talk Cowboys draft, a deep dive into what Jerry Jones had to say yesterday. Then, second segment, we have Mitt Winter, sports law attorney, played hoops at William & Mary, actually, around the same time I was at Richmond, so not too far away. But with all that's going on with college sports now, Mitt has been a stabilizing voice on Twitter, interacting with a lot of the folks I work with at ESPN, folks asking for clarity on what's going to happen with college sports. And Mitt is having hands-on experience right now. His law office is in Kansas City, and he does a lot with NIL, with collectives, and he tells us not to worry, but it's going to get worse before it gets better, kind of. Stay tuned. Great conversation with him coming up in segment 2. And then we're going to get a movie review from Scotty. We haven't gotten one of these since Complete Unknown, and that went Scotty viral, right? I mean, people were loving Scotty's review. The Pete Sousa Show is presented by Slovakics, also Crawford Austin Properties. Cannot forget about Sikora Family Ford, rocking and rolling, and, of course, Daniel Stark, Injury Lawyers, and D1. Let's start with last night's Laker game. I had a softball game, and I got home just in time for the Lakers game. And Luka on fire early, had 14 points with like 3 minutes left in the first quarter. He finished the game with 31. The biggest thing about this basketball game that I knew, there's two things that I knew would not be sustainable for the Timberwolves, and it was not. Their bench production. I mean, I am not like, dude, there's a lot of people who know much more about basketball than I do, but this was like a keep it simple like perspective. The Timberwolves had 43 bench points in that first game, the opening round game 1 blowout of the Lakers. They had 19 bench points last night. Part of the reason is because Dante DiVincenzo and Naz Reid got into foul trouble. They both had 3 fouls before the end of the second quarter. And the three-point shooting. I think they were 21 of 42 in game 1, the Timberwolves were. And last night they were 5 of 25. And I felt like the Lakers took a punch in game 1. And they went on record, by the way. LeBron James did and other members of the team talking about how J.J. Redick, after they got slapped around by the Timberwolves on Saturday night, he slapped them around. And I think that's a huge part of the Lakers' championship-winning puzzle right now is J.J. Redick. And I think J.J. Redick is a new voice, a fresh voice, and an intense voice that can give the Lakers just enough of that Pat Riley, just enough, right, of that hardcore actual coach that can motivate you when you need to be motivated. These guys are pros. They don't need too much of that, but there's certain ways to tweak guys, and I think that it's more of a psychological thing. And so far, J.J. Redick seems to not only have the respect of his players, but has also figured out how to get them going and how to motivate them. Luka, 9 for 20. We mentioned 31 points. 11 for 11 from the free throw line. 12 rebounds and 9 assists. Come on, man. This guy's not playing in Dallas. Like, what are we doing here? I was thinking about this last night or this morning when I was looking through the playoffs. I'm not a big when it comes down to like going to big events, I'm not like a huge action guy, but I spend a lot of time in the DFW area, and I was like, oh yeah, I can't see where the Mavericks are playing like in the playoffs because they're not in the playoffs because they suck. But you always think like maybe I can go to a Mavs game. Well, I can't go to a Mavs game because they're done, they're toast. But the Lakers bounced back, and that we move closer now towards the possibility of the Lakers and the Warriors in the second round of the NBA playoffs. Right now, I think that matchup is so important for the NBA. I just think the NBA needs it right now. A lot of these games have not been great. Flat out, they haven't been great, you know. And look, a lot of these teams shouldn't be in the playoffs. I like the way the NBA playoffs are constructed, with 8 teams on either side. I think the play-in situation, it's just like messy for the average fan right now. And look, Ryan Russillo said it last week on his pod. He was like, I don't think he likes the play-in stuff, but he was also like, hey, when the games are good, we watch them. So if there's good games, we're going to watch them and we're going to talk about them. But, you know, there haven't been a ton of good games. So we'll continue to keep an eye on the playoffs. You know, the Clippers and Denver, they're tied at 1 game apiece. Like, that's a fun series. What do we have tonight? Tonight we have Orlando-Boston. Boston is a 10.5-point favorite. That game tips off at 6 o'clock. Miami and Cleveland, all-time Central, by the way. That starts at 6:30. 11.5 point underdog. The Cavs are. And then Golden State and Houston. That's the game to watch, but it starts at 8:30. I mean, I'm old. I'm not that old. So I could probably watch at least the beginning of that. But if you're on the East Coast, you can probably forget about it because it won't end until 1 o'clock. But that's the NBA right now. But I'm excited to see the Lakers bounce back. The Lakers keep me interested. I am that, jamoke on the bus that needs a little bit more to pay attention to the NBA, and the Lakers do that for me. So excited about them being involved. Not a Laker fan, just kind of like a Laker admirer, I think. And again, you know one thing I miss? Stephen A. Smith said this. They were talking about, and I think about this with J.J. Redick, and I'm sure if I thought about every other coach, I'd think about it as well. I have a theory, by the way. Coaches around the NBA and college basketball are in worse shape than ever, and it's because they don't have to wear suits anymore. So they're getting what they want. They can wear the running suits and the track suits, but they know that they got this, what do they call that on your waist? You got that band you're working with there, right? There's no belt, there's no fitting, right? And these guys aren't looking that good. I mean, like Tom Thibodeau, like that guy needs a suit, right? J.J. Redick, I mentioned Pat Riley, and then I thought about J.J., and I said, damn, man, J.J. would look so good in a suit coaching. But, they all wear, like, running suits now. Most of them look like crap. They look weird. They're starting to look like the baseball manager wearing a uniform. Why don't we have them wear uniforms? We should have coaches wear uniforms on the sideline. Like that, if they want to be like the players and show up in the workout suits, that bothers me. So I want one thing, and this is going in the time machine a little bit. I'm sure we all saw. If you didn't, I'll tell you about it. LeBron James goes out to warm up for a regular season game. It's probably like a week and a half ago. And he goes out, and it was after the doors opened in L.A., so the crowd is now in the arena. Fans are. And LeBron goes out, and he's getting shots up with no shirt on. And Isaiah Thomas took exception to this and really tried to take LeBron to task and was like, hey, what happened to, the respect that this game used to command and we used to have for it, right? And then Stephen A. Smith said, on his show, by the way, I could go on a whole Stephen A. jag, but I won't. A lot of respect for him. But let's finish this point first. Stephen A. agreed with Isaiah Thomas, and he took it a step further and said, Stephen A., and this is me as a fan too, so this might be a little bit of the get off my lawn. Like when I was a kid watching basketball growing up, it was Larry Brown, dressed to the nines, whatever era it was. It was Chuck Daly. I mean, basically setting the bar for everybody else, along with Pat Riley. My man Bernie Bickerstaff used to look like Lawrence Fishburne. I mean, I could go through them all, man. These guys looked sharp as hell. Patino. And Patino still does. I love Patino still wearing his suits. So I hope we get back to that because right now these coaches are looking sloppy, and overall it's bad for their overall physical health. Because I believe when you think about you're going to have that cheeseburger on the road or that extra beer or whatever, and you're not thinking about any kind of suit fitting or wearing your custom apparel, you can kind of let it go. And I think we're being robbed as young people. I'm not young anymore, but as fans, we're being robbed of just, give us a little more. The league is kind of messy right now, and I think, that's kind of like part of it a little bit. I don't know. I know way too many people who, when I mention the NBA, they're just like, whatever. And I'm always going to be interested because I just love sports, and I try to take the sociological stuff out of it, right? I think there's a disconnect. I think a lot of my friends who I grew up with, like Murph just called me before the show. I mean, Murph was driving around when he was in his 20s, listening to Scarface, playing pickup basketball every day in the city of Philly, playing in the Sunny Hill League. He thought Allen Iverson hung the moon, and now all the guy does is run around in 3/4 zips, play golf, watch the Golf Channel, and hang out in the suburbs. So, I mean, that I still try, he's disconnected now. Although he was at the center of the movement when we were kids. His guy was like white chocolate on the hoops court. But I digress. I still look at the NBA as a fan. What do you got, Scotty?
I just wanted to bring in our friend Bear the Truth, who says this isn't just a NBA problem. It's more of a, I think, professional sports problem. He said same thing on NFL sidelines.
Really?
Now, I agree with him, but I think it's just been going on a lot longer.
Yeah.
I mean, Belichick was doing the cutoff hoodies 20 years ago. But,
yes.
I can see his point. Like, Landry and Lombardi and those guys were fedoras and suits.
I thought, and look, as a guy who didn't, it's not like I liked getting dressed up. As a kid going to Catholic school, we had to put on, like, you had to wear a tie or whatever. It was a huge pain in the ass. But, like, when Dan Reeves and Tom Landry wore suits on the sideline, I thought it was so cool.
Even watching those old highlights as someone who didn't ever watch them, growing up, like, it is badass. It just makes you look.
Hank Stram, Vince Lombardi, even Steve Mariucci in his first year at Cal. He only had 1 year there, but he wore the suit on the sideline. I thought it was so cool.
Yeah.
And I do think that there's like a lack of respect that these leagues command now. It doesn't matter because everybody's getting rich, but that's just a personal opinion at the way folks are looking at it.
And it's not just NBA because it's happening in college basketball too.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that, all the Baylor games I went to this season, missing the days when you used to know every time you'd go to a Baylor basketball game when Scott Drew was pissed because he'd take his jacket off.
Yeah.
That was like the Scott Drew thing for like 15 years. Like, oh, the jacket's off. He's done. He's pissed. He got a tech one time very infamously because he turned and threw his jacket at his own bench. And the official rushed over and gave him a tech. And he's like, I'm not allowed to throw my jacket on my bench. Like, it was outrageous. Bear the Truth will remember that. So it's kind of happened, I think, across all sports, top down.
Yeah.
It's kind of happened across society, everywhere top down.
Yeah.
We've seen images and videos of like senators walking into the Capitol Hill and like flip flops and athletic shorts. You know what I mean? So like, you do wonder where the limit is, and social things tend to go back and forth.
Yeah.
When will we start swinging back?
I hope we start swinging back.
I do too. I kind of do too.
Yeah.
I think there's a good middle ground.
But Adam Silver is way too scared to impose. Like, look. After the malice at the Palace, I was working for the Charlotte Hornets at the time. The next day, there was like security all over every arena because that was just a gangbuster situation that we'd never seen before, at least not in that era of basketball. And I mean, I don't think it was too much longer after that David Stern imposed the dress code, which was a little I don't know. It was a little
it's like dress code too far, but maybe minimum expectations.
Yeah,
good.
something. Yeah. Like I did love when I was a kid working in the NBA when Rasheed Wallace would walk in. I'll never forget this. He was playing with the Pistons the year after they won the championship, and it was early. It was a Saturday game, and the NFL playoffs were still on because it was like in November. Or maybe it was probably January or December. And Rasheed Wallace walks in. He's got a Barry Sanders jersey on, and he has the championship belt that he wore for most of that year.
Yeah.
After he just it was the coolest thing you'd ever saw.
That's awesome.
I mean, there's you can play both sides of it, but I would like to see coaches dressing up a little bit. Honestly, it's funny. The players really don't have to worry about it. I mean, those guys are going in the other degree. It's a fashion show when they walk into arenas.
True.
So maybe the coaches are the problem now. Get it together, guys. And we're trying to save you from yourselves because you're not taking care of yourselves the way that the generation prior to you all, or the way you did years ago. I say 4 or 5 years, as far as how you got dressed, how you took care of yourself so you could get dressed and fit into those custom suits. All right, Dallas Cowboys press conference yesterday. Everybody looked great, looked really sharp. The Doomsday Podcast, Mosley, Ed Werder, broke the whole thing down. I want you to go up and check that out. It's on the Rogue Media Network. I thought that the one thing that Ed Werder shared that really kind of touched me this morning was the reality that the Cowboys can tell you whatever you want or whatever they want. But the truth is, the Cowboys have so many needs this offseason and with their team that they need to come out of this draft with like 4 or 5 starters. If they want to impact the quality of the roster the way that they need to. Our theory was debunked. Not only Scotty's theory. Scotty's theory is in rough shape right now because, but good news for you, Scotty. If you believe like you believe, the odds are only getting better for people that believe that Shedeur, there's no way he'll fall past 12.
Yeah.
To the Cowboys.
I did say today before we came on that the temptation just put $5. Like I'm not going to put a lot of money on anything, but to put
what are the odds?
$5. Let's look. Let me look real
Yeah,
quick.
yeah.
I'll get back with you on that.
So this is Shedeur Sanders possibly going to the Cowboys at 12 because rumors, my man McShay told us and said earlier this week that New Orleans is not going to take him. New Orleans is probably not going to take a quarterback at 9, or they're definitely not going to take Shedeur. And the Giants are moving much closer to Abdul Carter. And it sounds like right now, if the 2 wide receivers are gone, again, this was kind of what we heard from the press conference yesterday. By the way, it was Jerry and Stephen Jones, Brian Schottenheimer, the head coach, and Will McClay, who handles a lot of the personnel and gets the whole draft ready. But they'll take the best edge rusher or offensive lineman if those 2 wide receivers that they like, McMillan from Arizona and Golden from Texas, are gone. And Jerry was asked. So here was, and this gives you a little glimmer of hope, Scotty. Jerry was asked, hey, if someone like Shedeur was still available at 12, is there a possibility that you would look at him or another quarterback in general? And Jerry said, look, we've got an amazing commitment to Dak right now, but then there was the however. And he spoke, and, obviously I'm paraphrasing, but he said, the chance that Dak could get hurt is something that, what happens then? Like if he does get hurt, what's your immediate plan? Which doesn't say much about our boy Joe Milton, who came over in this offseason. But if that's your plan sucks, I think, right? Joe Milton, obviously a Tennessee quarterback in the NFL right now. And a guy that the Cowboys acquired in a trade from New England. What do you got for odds, Scotty?
I'm having trouble finding it, which should tell you what you need to know about how where people are at right now on it.
So that means it's highly unlikely. Yeah. Highly unlikely. So it's going to be an interesting situation, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And I know exactly what I'll be doing tomorrow night. I'm kind of like I'm a little skittish about it because Christy's coming to town, and I know she doesn't want to hear like, hey, I got a great idea. We're going to watch the draft on Thursday. But she's got like a field trip she's going to for her son's school during the day in Dallas. So my hope is that she's just going to be so worn out from all the driving and being around the kids that her social battery will be zapped. And she'll just be crushed. And physically, of course, she'll be over the moon because she gets to see me watch the draft. And then the next night I have a baseball game I'm doing. So sports. Saturday night we'll do a nice date. What do you got? Any odds? All right, Scotty's got no odds, but he is a winner. I bet on Scotty every day. Scotty and I taped this interview coming up with Mitt Winter. Mitt Winter is a sports attorney. I talked about it on the top of the show if you've just joined us. He does a lot with NIL. He's based in Kansas City, a former college basketball player at William & Mary. And he's an expert in this gray area we have with college sports right now. And I got a chance to catch up with him earlier this morning. We talked for about 15 minutes about the state of major college sports, particularly football and basketball, the House settlement that is coming down, possible antitrust lawsuits that continue to bubble up and could bubble up even more so after this House settlement. Scotty, what do you got?
DraftKings says plus 3,000.
Woo!
I thought it was going to be worse than that, actually.
Yeah.
I told you this morning it might be plus 5,000, but it's plus 3,000 for Shedeur to go to the Cowboys.
I love a long shot, Scotty. I love a long shot.
I'm thinking about 5,000.
All right. We're going to step aside. Quick break. The Pete Sousa Show presented by Slovacics. We're coming back with sports law attorney Mitt Winter on the NIL and where this whole mess is headed in college sports. Stay with us.
Overwhelmed by your inbox? Clean Email is here to help. Organize, clean, and manage your emails with powerful automation tools. Say goodbye to spam and clutter and enjoy a stress-free inbox. Try Clean Email today at cleanemail.com. That's CLEAN email.com. Cleanse your body of accumulated toxins and embark on your wellness journey at your own pace. At Global Healing, we provide premium supplements to help your body heal naturally. Combine that with OrganicHemp.com's top quality CBD for ultimate balance. Start your healing journey today at globalhealing.com and OrganicHemp.com. Unlock a world of convenience with Mully Box, your one-stop solution for personalized subscription boxes delivered right to your door. Each box is tailored to your taste. Experience the joy of surprises. Subscribe today at mullybox.com. That's MULLYBOX.com. At Toussaint's, we understand that maintaining a healthy lifestyle can be challenging, especially in today's fast-paced world. That's why our mission is to make fitness accessible to everyone, anywhere. Committed to excellence, we adopt a user-centric approach guided by ergonomics and medical science. With a team of seasoned professionals in R&D, design, and manufacturing, we prioritize quality across our entire product line. Visit Toussaint's.com today and start your journey to better health. That's TOUSAINS.com. BizChair.com. Your one-stop shop for premium commercial furniture that blends quality with affordability. From ergonomic office chairs to durable restaurant seating, we cater to diverse industries including corporate, medical, hospitality, and education. With over 20 years of experience, we offer fast shipping, exceptional customer support, and furniture solutions that stand up to high-traffic environment. Elevate your space with BizChair's vast selection of stylish, reliable, and cost-effective furniture. Visit us today at BizChair.com to transform your business. At Mitzi, we believe the right light can transform any space. Born from a third-generation lighting family, we craft beautifully designed, premium lighting that's made to be affordable. Inspired by Grandma Mitzi's eclectic style, we're on a mission to make high-quality lighting accessible to all. Whether you're updating your space or adding a unique fixture, Mitzi has the perfect design for you. Beautiful, well-made lighting without the high price tag. Discover your perfect light at Mitzi.com. That's MITZI.com. Mitzi. Founded in 1910, Samsonite is the world leader in durable, high-quality luggage and travel accessories. Made to the highest standards, our products won't let you down. We give you the confidence to get out there and explore. Inspired by the past, devoted to the present, and built to inspire a multi-generational future, Samsonite is here to elevate your journey. Travel with Samsonite and pack confidence every step of the way. Shop now at shop.samsonite.com. The grinder mentality that Randy and Brent Habert built into 44 Pro runs deep within our team. Every member shares a passion for the craft, the game, and most importantly, the player. When you step onto the field with a 44 Pro custom glove, you'll feel the difference. It's not just a glove, it's a 44 Pro. Crafted with dedication, made for performance, and built to last. Get your custom glove today at 44pro.com and experience the 44 Pro difference. That's 44pro.com, 44 Pro. Welcome to Kit Bag, the ultimate destination for football fans. Whether you're cheering for Arsenal, Chelsea, Manchester United, or any other top club, we've got your team's colors running through our veins. From official replica kits to custom player prints of your favorite stars like Ronaldo, Messi, and Kane, Kit Bag is your one-stop shop for all things football. Powered by Fanatics, we deliver to over 180 countries, ensuring you get the gear you need fast. For true football passion, think Kit Bag. Visit kitbag.com today. That's KITBAG.com. Kit Bag.
All right, the Pete Sousa Show presented by Slovaceks. We are back with Mitt Winter. He's an attorney for Kenny Hertz Perry. That is in Kansas City. Also, former college basketball player, an expert on the NIL situation and sports law. Mitt, have you ever seen anything like this in your life?
No, it's very unique with all the change going on in college sports right now and just all the messiness of trying to create this news model on the fly. You know, a lot of people say it's like building an airplane while flying it. But it's like building an airplane while flying it with no instruction manual. Really.
With no pilot.
Yeah, exactly.
What's going to be, like, who, I guess, what body, what particular person, what role needs to step up to change this thing? Who can do it that can commandeer a change?
Yeah, I mean, Honestly, the power to change really all lies with university presidents. That's really who controls the NCAA and what happens in college athletics. A lot of times the ADs or the conference commissioners, they're the public faces, so they get blamed for a lot of this stuff, but they answer to the college presidents. And so any big change has to come from that high of a level, or like the board of trustees at a university, because they're the ones that really sign off on all of this stuff at the highest level.
What's it take to get to that level? Like what has to happen for them to get on board and to take action?
Yeah, I mean, the House settlement itself is some action, because it's going to be much different than the way things have been in the past. Schools will now be able to just directly pay their athletes, and so that is a big change. So obviously that took some lawsuits to make that happen. I think there's some more change that needs to happen if everybody wants more stability in college athletics, which is, I think, what everyone's really after. I don't think the issue now is whether, I don't think people have a problem with the athletes getting paid. I think everyone's kind of, gotten to be comfortable with that. The ADs, the commissioners, even the presidents now. But I think there's some other things that need to happen to bring that stability. So when rules are in place, there's not just constant lawsuits happening, because even coming out of the House settlement, there's still going to be more lawsuits, most likely, unless Congress comes in and gives the NCAA an antitrust exemption and some other stuff in a law they want. But I'm kind of skeptical that that's going to happen.
So we need, the thing is, and the House settlement, and I want to ask you more about that in a second. Obviously, there is some change coming, but it's like we need it right now, and we need sweeping change in order to, I think to say save it is a little too dramatic. What else could come out of that House settlement that the average person doesn't know about? You mentioned the contracts, but what else could come out of that can put up, you hear the term all the time, air quotes, guardrails, right? What other guardrails, now I'm falling victim to it, can come out of that?
Yeah, so the big ones are, right now, a lot of your listeners and viewers probably know that collectives are the ones paying athletes most of the NIL compensation. And collectives are really just groups of boosters that put money together and contract and pay the athletes. So the settlement is trying to move all of that process over to the schools. So there's going to be some new rules as part of the House settlement that really limit and restrict the types of deals that athletes can do with collectives and boosters. So there's going to be this new clearinghouse where all deals an athlete does with what's called an associated entity or individual, which just really means collective and booster, it's going to have to go through this fair market value analysis review that's going to be run by Deloitte. And so that's trying to move away from the boosters and collectives really funding all these NIL payments and letting the school take over that role. And there's going to be a cap on the amount of money the schools can pay, and then try to really limit what the boosters are able to pay on top of that, with the thought that that's going to bring some more, competitive balance to the scene.
Now, there's always going to be, that's a great answer. There's always going to be shadowy figures involved where there's money. But, doing what I do, going on the road and calling games, you have dinner with a college administrator on the sports side. They will tell you, stories that you're familiar with being a former athlete, but just like nightmare stories of middlemen getting involved, lying to the kid, right, to get him to leave, let's say, Alabama, to go to Tennessee, where he tells them you're going to get more money at Tennessee when he actually hasn't even talked to anybody from Tennessee. Yeah. And has nothing to do with the school. Will the House settlement and what you're talking about, eliminating the collectives, not putting all the blame on them, but just getting some more structure in place, will that eliminate some of this?
Not necessarily, because you're still going to have collectives at a lot of schools, especially at P4 schools. They're going to have collectives because they know to be competitive in recruiting, they're going to have to basically promise their athletes more money on top of what they're going to be able to pay under the cap. So collectives are still going to be around. And also now in the mix, most athletes at the P4 level, football and basketball at least, they have agents. And so those agents, even though they're technically not supposed to under the NCAA's tampering rules, they're in constant communication with coaches and GMs at schools now, well before the transfer portal opens. So they know what school might be interested in an athlete, throughout the season. So the House settlement itself is not going to have any rules that limit the player movement and the transferring that's going on right now. I think that's one thing that people want to get to eventually, but the House settlement itself doesn't have anything that's going to limit any of that.
So in your estimation, is this going to get worse over the next calendar year, or is it going to get better?
That's a hard question to answer because I think what we do know is there's still going to be more lawsuits coming out of the House settlement. And so the question is, what kind of instability does that bring to things that are planned as part of the House settlement? Because the cap that I mentioned on the amount of money that schools can pay to their athletes, that's really an antitrust violation, unless you have an antitrust exemption, which they currently don't. And those third-party rules, the limits on collectives and booster deals, that probably violates antitrust law too. So there's going to be lawsuits around those things. So no one really knows how long some of these rules that are coming out of the House settlement will be in place and how effective they'll be and how many challenges there will be to that. So I don't think over the next year that we're going to have instantly a ton of stability in this model that's going to be a long-lasting model right now. I think eventually what we're going to have to get to really bring that stability is a model where, like we have in the NFL and the NBA, where you have the Players Association and then you have the league and they agree on what the rules are going to be. If you do that through true collective bargaining, you get an antitrust exemption for those rules. Right now in college athletics, we can't have collective bargaining because you have to be an employee to actually collectively bargain. So there are some efforts to allow college athletes to engage in what are people calling collective negotiation to create those types of rules. But that would probably take a federal law as well to change the law on what type of protections you get if you're not an employee. So I think eventually that's the kind of model we're going to have to get to bring that stability everybody wants.
When it comes to cooking at home, my fiance will tell you this. I'm a microwave guy. I'm not an oven guy. I want it now. And part of that is my responsibility. That's partially my baggage. But I want something quickly. That federal law you mentioned, and I had a long conversation with a college basketball coach in the Big 12 this year, and flat out he's like, this won't be resolved until we get collective bargaining. How long would something like that take?
It depends on what Congress is willing to do. So right now, there are really two ways you could bring stability to college athletics. One, either Congress could pass a law that gives it the NCAA and just college athletics in general an antitrust exemption. And that's what the NCAA and the conferences are pushing for right now. Because if they just get that antitrust exemption, they can put back in place the type of transfer restrictions we used to have where, all right, you can transfer, you get one free transfer, but after that, you have to sit out a year if you transfer. But without an antitrust exemption, you can't have those types of rules right now because federal courts have said they violate antitrust law. So
by the way, just help me out for a second. You're the expert. For people that don't know, maybe kind of me, antitrust is a monopoly pretty much, right? Yeah,
basically. It's when competitors get together and set rules. Like the NCAA has been in trouble over the last 15 years for violating antitrust law because all the schools have gotten together as competitors and say, this is the maximum amount of money you can pay to an athlete. So they've been sued a bunch for that. And same with the transfer rules that the schools have gotten together in the past and said, athlete, if you want to transfer, you're going to have to sit out a year. Or we'll give you one free year. You can transfer, or one free transfer. But if you transfer again after that, you have to sit out a year.
Gotcha,
so,
okay.
Since that's competitors getting together and colluding to set these types of rules that limit economic activity, they're problematic.
Okay, so I interrupted. So you were saying, they have to clean that up and then carry on.
Yeah, so there's two ways to get around that. One, Congress just gives NCAA college sports an antitrust exemption, or you engage in collective bargaining, collective negotiation. Like at the NFL and NBA level, when they agree on those rules with the athletes, you get an antitrust exemption for those rules. So those are really the two ways it can happen. But right now, like I said, since the athletes aren't employees, they can't have a players association. They can't collectively bargain. So there's an effort to get a federal law passed that would allow athletes to engage in collective bargaining without being employees. So we'll see what happens. It's either going to be the athletes are declared employees at some point and then are able to collectively bargain, or Congress does something else.
So you're an attorney, we mentioned, in Kansas City for Kenny Hertz Perry, obviously sports law. Are you involved with this, with what you do on a day-to-day? Like, have you become involved in this at all? Like, getting your hands involved?
Oh, yeah. I do, like, pretty much 100% of the work I do is in college athletics in the NIL space these days. Work with some schools, collectives, agents, athletes, and a lot of businesses doing different things in the college sports world. So, yeah, very, very, very heavily involved in everything going on, and it's a lot of fun. It could be or a lot more fun than some other areas of law that I can spend my time working in, especially as a former college athlete. It's really interesting stuff.
Yeah, dude, you're the perfect guy for it, which is, it's cool to know we got people like you out there, really, that have been on both sides of it now. When people, a couple more things for you, and I'll let you go because I know you got a busy day. NIL, will teams, or let me put it this way, after the House settlement, right, will players still be able to use that marketing side of NIL? Like if there are, let's say, contracts for players, right, will they still be able to get money like through lucrative NIL deals?
Yeah, they will. So they'll still be able to do unlimited amounts of what a lot of people refer to as true NIL. Like if they want to go out and do an endorsement deal for Nike or Under Armour or any other business, they'll have carte blanche to do that as much as they want and can be paid as much as they want. There's no limits on how much they can be paid or that type of activity. It's just those deals with boosters and collectives that are going to have this extra layer of regulation to see if the amount the athlete's being paid for the service being provided is within fair market value. And then the agreements that athletes are entering into with the schools, they're still going to be considered NIL licensing agreements, but the type of activity under those agreements is generally going to be, we, the school, are licensing the right to use your NIL athlete to promote our school and our teams and our athletic program. In some cases, it gives the school the right to go out and partner the athlete's NIL with the school's trademarks with third-party businesses, depending on the school agreement. So that's kind of how this world's going to work. There's the NIL agreement between the school and the athlete, and then the athlete can go out and find any other third-party NIL deals that they want to go out and find.
All right, last thing for you. I'm an eternal optimist, but that's why I try to surround myself with realists like you. Where are we headed with this? Like, this is salvageable, right?
Yeah. I mean, no matter what model we have, college sports is not going away. I mean, that's clear.
Can I give the fist pump on the? Yes.
Yeah, it's going to look different, right? And we're in this time of really big change, and change is always hard, whether you're inside or outside. Where college athletics has been one way for a very long time, and now there's big changes coming, and people are still getting used to that. But no matter what model we end up with, whether Congress gives the NCAA an antitrust exemption, or whether the athletes end up, at least in some sports, being employees, whatever model we end up with, college sports, in my opinion, is still going to be a huge part of the United States, and people are still going to watch, and it's going to be just as great as it always has been. Just some of the internal, behind-the-scenes stuff is going to be different.
Mitt Winter, you should be a therapist when you get done practicing law, because you just made me feel a little bit better. Hey, where can people find you on Twitter? You're a tremendous follower, really, and you're someone who is constantly pumping out just quick, good tidbits of information as this thing continues to develop.
Yeah, at Winter Sports Law is my X/Twitter handle. So yeah, pretty active on there. I like to just kind of comment and discuss everything going on in the college sports world right now.
Yeah, well, I told you before we started, my man Fran Fraschilla asked for help. He said, I just need some information on this. This is right around the Final Four, and you stepped right in. I was like, damn, that's great stuff. Yeah. So I appreciate the work you're doing, man. Keep up the great work, and thank you for taking the time this morning. I know you're a real busy guy.
No problem. Thanks for having me on.
All right, Mitt, take care, bud.
All right, talk to you later.
See you, bud.
Bye.
For 75 years, Nalgene Outdoor has been your trusted companion, fueling adventures and helping protect the planet. We're committed to reducing waste, improving access to clean water, and providing simple, safe, and sustainable products for you and your family. No gimmicks, just durable, well-designed bottles built to last. Join us on our mission to amplify life, not complicate it. Because at Nalgene, what goes into our bottles matters as much as the adventures they fuel. Explore more at nalgene.com. That's NALGENE.com. Looking for tickets to the hottest shows, games, and events? Ticket Liquidator is your one-stop shop for great prices, no hassles, and guaranteed tickets. Since 2003, we've been connecting buyers and sellers, providing access to sold-out events at prices lower than most secondary market options. Whether it's sports, theater, or concerts, our massive nationwide network ensures you get the tickets you want, guaranteed. For the best seats at the biggest events, start with Ticket Liquidator today at ticketliquidator.com. That's TICKETLIQUIDATOR.com. Ticket Liquidator.
I'm Hunter, the founder of Hello Cake, and today we're digging into ED meds. The number one thing we hear is that guys are sick of waiting for ED meds to kick in. Traditional ED meds take about an hour to kick in as they have to go through your digestive system, where Hello Cake's ED medication dissolves under your tongue and works in about 15 minutes. That's about 3 times faster than traditional ED medication. Curious about ED meds? Go to hellocake.com.
InMotion is more than just a name. It's a legacy of innovation. From supplying electric vehicle parts like motors and inverters since the 1960s to creating cutting-edge electric scooters, hoverboards, and unicycles, InMotion is shaping the future of mobility. Whether you're looking for industrial power solutions or accessible personal transport, InMotion has you covered. Explore our products and experience the future of movement. Visit store.inmotionworld.com today.
Is your Mac running slow? Mac Booster 8 is your all-in-one solution to clean up 20 types of junk files, remove malware and viruses, and protect your device. It also optimizes your Mac's hard disk, fixes disk permission issues, and cleans memory, all to boost your Mac's performance to the max. Get your Mac running like new again with Mac Booster 8. Visit macboost.net today.
Finding a sleep sack that my baby likes has been a struggle.
The sleep sack from Joy is a major upgrade.
It is all-natural eucalyptus, which is breathable and hypoallergenic, which is really great for your baby's sensitive skin.
And it's made with Climatech, which regulates your baby's temperature.
You can also get Joy's crib sheets, which are made of the same super soft material.
Joy gave my baby comfort
and gave me peace of mind.
At Mapiful, we believe in celebrating your journey, past, present, and future. Our unique personalized products are designed to boost your confidence, elevate creativity, and honor what matters most. From custom home decor to meaningful gifts, we help you cherish the memories that make you who you are. Visit mapiful.com and start celebrating your story today.
Maud Lily is your go-to for stylish and affordable fashion that fits your life. Whether you're looking for the perfect swimsuit for a beach day, a chic dress for a night out, or cozy tops for everyday wear, Maud Lily has it all. Their extensive collection of swimwear, including bikinis, tankinis, and one-pieces, always keeps you on trend, while their dresses and tops come in flattering styles for every occasion. Visit maudlily.com today.
Taking instructions from Scotty, and why not? He's the best in the business, right? Scotty Swingler on the wheels of steel. And it's a big day for Scotty because we get to do Scotty's movie review. Again, if you forget,
let's go.
We talked about Complete Unknown,
That was a few months ago now.
Yeah, we had to hose you off after the review. You were excited.
Listen, that was a good film.
Folks loved your take. We got a lot of interaction, and Scotty has basically, I guess, passive aggressively called for this review, and I'm here for it.
What?
Yeah.
No, I told you yesterday you needed to go see it, and you said we got to do this tomorrow. We got to do a review.
Scotty, let's just keep the shtick going once in a while, okay? All right. So no, I was excited to get you on this and to find out your review. Now, this movie, for people who have no idea about it, it's based in 1932. It's a Ryan Coogler vehicle, as we say in the business, and basically he and Michael B. Jordan. Michael B. Jordan plays two people, right?
That's
twins.
correct. Yeah,
Okay.
he plays twins. Yes.
Okay, so you went to see the movie.
I did.
On the first night it was out?
No, Saturday night I saw it.
Okay.
With my brother and some friends.
Okay, so what grabbed you about the picture?
Well, let me just say I got tickets opening weekend because Ryan Coogler he's on a streak of some pretty excellent films, but they're franchise films. So Ryan Coogler made Creed, which was very good, very good. Black Panther, obviously, like generationally good.
Yeah.
Black Panther 2, I think a lot better than most people. I mean, how do you handle losing your star? I thought he did it well. So this was his first kind of original idea film in a long time.
Okay.
What grabbed me about the movie in the immediate aftermath was it checks every box if you're a film lover. It looks good. The soundtrack is phenomenal. It's Ludwig Göransson, who's done a lot of big projects lately, including Nolan's last two films, Oppenheimer and Mandalorian. He's a brilliant composer. Soundtrack's great. Looks good. Definitely has a visual style that's different and pulls you in. The reason I wanted to talk about it with you is it's one of those movies, and this is, I think, one of the highest compliments I can give a movie. I walked out and was like, that was pretty good. And then the next day I was like, I kept thinking about it. I was like, man, that was really good. And then like the next day I was like, that's one of the best movies I've seen in a very long time. And I will probably go watch it again this weekend.
Who won the film?
It's a new actor. Let me find his name.
Ooh, see that? I ask the good questions around here.
I need to learn his name.
Well, I got a couple questions for you. So
Yeah.
let's start with that.
Miles, Caton is the last name. We'll say Caton. I could be mispronouncing that. This was his acting debut.
Mm-hmm.
He has been a professional musician for a long time, and he plays one of the lead characters in the film, and was very compelling. And said afterward, after the reception he's received, like, I'm going to have to keep this acting thing up. But it's like, and Ryan Coogler actually stated, something that was important to me was to give a really talented actor their big debut.
Yeah.
And he hits it out of the park. So I would say as an actor, he won the movie.
A little more context for the folks at home. Sinners, a 2025 American period horror film, written and co-produced and directed by Coogler. Set in 1932 in the Mississippi Delta, the film stars Michael B. Jordan in dual roles. We mentioned the twin brothers. They return to their hometown to start again, only to be confronted by supernatural evil. How scary is the movie? Are you on the edge of your seat?
I would call it, you are constantly in a state of tension, but I would not call it frightening.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Now, I walked out of the movie and actually told people that was less scary than I thought it would be. I thought it was going to be more.
Yeah.
I met with somebody yesterday at a coffee shop who said, that was way scarier than I thought it was going to be. So, your mileage varies. But I will just say, because you may not know my taste in movies, I don't like horror movies. That's not a genre I go out of my way to watch ever.
I think I watched Baylor football in the 90s. That was enough.
I like thrillers. I like intellectual movies. And I do like some dark in my movies, like Fight Club, Chronicle, if anybody likes that one. Like this checked all the boxes for me. And the other reason I liked this movie, and I'm trying to do this in a non-spoilerly way. This movie touches about 4 genres of film. And I would say horror is probably the big present one, but it's kind of touching these other genres of film, these other traditions in film in a really compelling way. And the other thing this film does, and it's what you'll see discourse about on Twitter and anywhere else you read about this movie. It is asking, and I think good art does this, it is asking very provocative questions about culture, about society, about religion, that it could have done in a very aggressive, kind of forceful way, but it does because you've got this horror, supernatural film on top, it does it in a very subtle way, and I think a very open way. It just checks all those boxes for me. Yeah.
The film is based in 1932. How do you work with that? Sometimes I don't like that. That's just me.
I loved it.
Okay.
It was a great setting. You kind of had Wild West meets Jim Crow era, society. And it was really, I think, a great setting for the movie, actually. I actually loved that part of the film.
How does Michael B. Jordan do as a twin? Michael B. Jordan is so famous.
And he's a great performer. He's not just famous. Like, I think he's
no,
really
of course. But what I'm saying
he's really
is
talented.
Oh, there's no question.
Yeah.
I say he's famous because it's hard to imagine someone of that magnitude playing two people and having it be believable. Like, I go back to Armie Hammer playing the twins
phenomenally.
What was it? The
Winklevoss.
The Winklevoss twins, and he was somewhat of an unknown at the time, so it really kind of worked, right?
Yeah.
Michael B. Jordan is just so huge. Did you have any difficulty with that? The believability, or was he so good that you forgot he was playing two people?
I'm gonna give you a weird answer. I'm somewhere in the middle.
Okay.
It was not distracting. Like, I never felt pulled out of the movie.
Yeah.
I think he does play two distinct characters.
Mm-hmm.
I also was not like, holy cow, this is a great performance. Like, it doesn't today sit with me as like, this is an all-time Michael B. Jordan performance.
Okay.
I think he executes the script and he does it well, and he plays two characters well. I think the acting around him, and again, the style, the art style, the direction style that Coogler brings to the screen elevates everything. I mean, the entire cast of this movie just crushes. Haley Steinfeld crushes. I would have to look at some of these other actors' names because you will recognize several, but none of them I would say are A-listers outside those two.
Yeah.
But just phenomenal.
Delroy Lindo's in it, right?
Yes, he's phenomenal.
Omar Miller, I'm familiar with him.
Yeah.
If you were Josh Allen, would you let Haley Steinfeld act on a set with an actor as charismatic as Michael B. Jordan?
Okay, so that was another thing I was going to mention about this film. I was talking about it's multi-genred, kind of multi-layered. This is a way sexier film than I thought it would be. Like,
Scotty.
No, and I'm not trying to be like whatever. I just like there is a lot of dialogue as well as visuals where you're just like, oh, it's that kind of movie. Like, it is very sexually charged up. Probably not a surprise. Haley Steinfeld is not at all the entirety of that, but she is a piece of that, a component of that.
What kind of role does she play? Like, how significant is she in the film?
She's very significant in the film.
Okay.
This isn't a huge spoiler. So
Yeah.
Michael B. Jordan's playing twins.
Yeah.
Each twin has a lover, and she is one of the twins' lovers.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Josh Allen should be jealous.
I couldn't do it. If I were Josh Allen, my personality.
Dude, you got to do it.
I'm kind of a clingy, jealous type.
Yeah.
But Josh Allen may not be. And frankly, there's another perspective of this that's like, you're performing, but you just got engaged to me to spend the rest of your life with me. So there is a difference.
Nice to know that Scotty would be like Tommy Lee hanging around Baywatch.
No. I would be.
No, that's a very.
I would
honest,
have trouble watching it.
That is
if
a
it
very,
was my person.
That's a very honest answer. Yeah, I wouldn't watch it either.
Yeah.
I think I'm pretty good with jealousy until my significant other is on a film set making out with Michael B. Jordan.
Listen,
then I think
exactly.
I think we're all human to a degree.
Exactly.
All right, so give the movie a grade.
What kind of grades do you like? You want numbers, stars?
I like stars. I like stars, and I go with the halves, whatever. But I like stars. I'm a stars guy.
This is 4 stars.
4 stars.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Will we have any Oscar buzz around this movie?
Big time. So notably, this movie, and this is kind of a funny stat because of how we define original, but it is the highest grossing opening weekend for an original movie this decade.
What is original?
Well, that's what's funny, right? So
is original not like
so original means like Barbie doesn't count because it was based on an IP. Oppenheimer doesn't count because
superhero
it was based
films
on a
don't
biography.
count.
They definitely don't count because they're based on comics, right? So as far as
it's an original concept,
an original idea that the filmmaker had, this is the highest grossing opening weekend of the decade. That is significant.
Yeah.
Coogler got a lot of Oscar love for Black Panther, deservedly so. I think this will get nominated. I think he will get nominated for director. I think he will get nominated for score. I think he will get nominated. It will win screenplay, I suspect, best original screenplay. I'd be shocked if it doesn't win it. Michael B. might get nominated. I don't know. I definitely think supporting actress and supporting actor will get nominated.
Michael B. Jordan. He's he plays two people. So
I'm saying he would get nominated. If he got nominated, it would be lead actor.
Yeah.
But Miles Catton, who I just mentioned,
Yeah.
I think could get nominated for supporting, even as a new
Why,
actor.
if there's so much reality around it winning an Oscar, why did they release it in April?
It's a great question.
Yeah.
And I don't know. And what's crazy is so far it doesn't look to be hurting it at the box office.
Yeah, no.
And there's a lot. I mean, this movie's getting a lot of buzz, like a lot of positive buzz.
Yeah, I heard Bill Simmons talk about it, and he was like freaking out. But Michael B. Jordan, is he on the screen the whole time when you consider he plays two people? Like, is there percentage of the movie that you don't see Michael B. Jordan? 3%?
It's more than that, but it's not much.
Okay.
Yeah, he is the driver of the plot.
Okay.
Especially as both characters.
Yeah, and we know he works very well with Ryan Coogler all the way back to Fruitvale Station.
He's Coogler's guy. He and Coogler
Creed,
are like
obviously.
the dynamic duo. Yeah.
I mean, I've been with
Black Panther.
Well, yeah, Black Panther, obviously, but I've been with I've been with Michael B. since Where's Wallace.
I've been with him since Chronicle.
Yeah.
I
mean,
let me look up this one. There is one other actor who I think will get nominated for supporting potentially.
Delroy Lindo.
No, hold on.
Delroy Lindo. Omar Benson Miller.
This guy. What's this guy's name? Jack O'Connell.
Okay.
Jack O'Connell is another performance in this movie. I did not know who that actor was before this movie, and I will never forget this performance.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, Omar Benson Miller. He's our guy from. He was in the show Playmakers with The Rock. He's kind of like a character actor. I love that guy. He's in it too. A little bit more of the heavier set guy.
Yeah, he's hilarious in this movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So there's laughs too.
Listen, this is why Coogler. This is why I'm going to go watch this movie again. Again, this movie is firmly entrenched in one genre, but it touches at least 4 others. Like, it really feels original in that sense. You can't really pigeonhole this movie into one thing. Not in how it's presented or in what it's trying to say.
I got something for you. You've just convinced me to go see this movie. I'm going to see it Saturday night.
Great.
Honest to God,
I'll
sold me on it.
I want to know more about it.
Yeah, I will give a quick review on Monday. But
here's the spoiler. That's very low key. You do need to stick around through the credits.
Thank you.
Because as I'm talking about how it's multi-genred, there's a big twist in the credits that adds another genre to what this film is.
Well, if I'm staying for the credits now, we got a little bit of an issue because it's 2 hours and 17 minutes. So I'm definitely all right. Give me one more thing I need.
Yeah,
this is important. When can I go to the bathroom? Because I'm gonna have to go.
Before.
I don't know. I'm gonna have to go in the middle.
Like I'm really thinking through. If you have to, you really shouldn't. You really shouldn't because there's a couple.
I'm gonna be with somebody who can tell me what's going on.
There's a couple scenes you want to miss. I would say the earlier in the film, the safer. As the film progresses, you do not want to get up. It's a great thriller kind of horror film in that sense. Of like the further we get into this movie, the more you don't need to leave.
Yeah. I might just need like a catheter from now on because I can't. I mean, I can't. These movies, I can't get through them. 2 hours and 17 minutes. I mean, I can possibly get through that. Let's be honest. But
you could do that if you were at a football game.
Oh no, I couldn't. I go to the like when I do college football games. Like I'm thinking about halftime a lot. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, and the quarter breaks are long. Luckily, a lot of these booths have bathrooms in them. Yeah, college basketball I can get through. I learned a real hard lesson. College volleyball, there is no good time to go to the bathroom. Yeah, always interesting. All right, that's enough. We've already overstayed our welcome with you guys. Make sure you like, subscribe. We got a lot of good content. And hit that alert button for when we go live. I still don't quite understand that. Sometimes I get the alert like a day later, but hey, it's up to YouTube. But yeah, like, subscribe, watch the Cam Show. It's coming up next. I'm about to tape a payoff with Pete. That is going to go up tomorrow. That is Stories of Sobriety. You always got a shot. There's always hope, I promise. All right, we'll be back tomorrow with, oh yeah, that's right, Paul Biancardi is going to talk to us about, he's with ESPN, former college basketball coach, learned from the best, Rick Majerus, and he's going to talk to us all about college basketball recruiting. And I'm pumped to share with him some of the stuff that Mitt Winter shared with us today. If you missed that, sports attorney, it's going to be up on our the Pete Sousa channel, and he gives us everything you need to know about where we are right now with the NIL, paying players, and the future. And he has a lot of optimism for bringing us out of the mess. All right, we'll be back tomorrow.
It's the Pete Sousa Show. Sports.
We definitely love our relationship and love Extraco. It's been an amazing experience.
They made the PPP process easier. They were reaching out to me saying, what can I do to help you? That made a huge difference because my stress level, when we shut down to afterwards, was night and day.
Our experience with Extraco has been phenomenal since the very beginning, so we love Extraco.
Nobody tells our stories better than our clients.
The difference is stark. I was rear-ended at 70 miles an hour. I was injured, had a concussion. The insurance company, they delayed. They were playing games from the initial conversation. They weren't going to help me. The biggest thing I learned through this is that you can't go through this alone. I called Daniel Stark. They were going to help me and everything was going to be all right. Daniel Stark got me 10 times the insurance company offered.
The difference is stark.
We are Rogue Media Sports.